Hey, what's going on, guys? So today I wanted to visit a Lansky Multitool. I've had this tool for a number of years now. I believe I originally got this, like Lansky had this survival bag that was, packed with all different types of stuff. Had this multi-tool, had like its own little fire starter, had some survival type gear. The bag itself was really cool too. I want to say that I did a video on that, but again, it was years ago, so I'm not entirely sure. But I've had this multi-tool kind of floating around here and there all these years. I had this in my car for probably 6 months to like 8 months, something like that. Then I swapped it out for a Leatherman. I believe it was a sidekick or something. This resides mostly in an overnight bag. I have a duffel bag that I use like if I'm staying somewhere overnight, a quick hotel trip, if I'm traveling, which is rare. But if I go see family and friends and want to stay the night, which happens kind of often, or at least has happened often in the past, this is the multi-tool I have with me. Okay, so the idea is it's just always there. It's an extra multi-tool. There's things I like about it, things I don't like about it so much. That's why I'm making this video, is to kind of just talk about it a little bit. So it's just a review of the Lansky Multitool. It's very less known. Obviously, we have Leatherman as a brand, all those different models, Victorinox, Gerber. There's a number of different multi-tool companies on the market. We know Lansky for their sharpening equipment, right? Lansky sharpening systems, all their sharpening accessories and stuff. That's where the brand is known by. A couple years back, they came out with their worldwide legal knife, which was kind of interesting, which technically still wasn't legal worldwide. But that was, it was cool to see a knife from Lansky, right? But anyway, I don't know when this thing was, first introduced to the market or not, but it's been around. It's been around a number of years. In fact, I don't even know if there's a specific model. This is just sold online as a Lansky multi-tool. The only thing I can tell you is on the handle here, all right, it does say LS, but if you look up LS, that's one of their sharpening models. So I don't know. These sell, you can find this on Amazon right now for $17. There's some random places online that does sell it as well, but around the $20 price tag is what you're going to see for these. The only information I can really find is that its construction is 420 HC, and I don't know if that's for their tools and blades or if that's like the actual, body or handles of the multi-tool. I don't really know. One of the reasons I like this multi-tool is because it came with a separate bit set. Okay, so we have a really nice, nylon sheath here. It's quite stiff. It actually works perfectly for this multi-tool. And on the back, there's a sleeve, all right, a separate little pocket, and it has a strip of bits. Now, over the years, I did lose one bit, all right, which was one size of the flathead. All right, so you see we have the actual connection piece, which goes on the tool, so you can use the bits. Then we have 3 different sizes of Phillips, all right, and there's supposed to be 3 different sizes of flatheads. I lost the smallest one, and then there's 3 sizes of hex bits. Now, what's really interesting is that all these bits are totally fine all these years later, but for some reason, just the hex bits started to rust. All right, so zoom in just a little bit more. You can see that these heads have surface rust on them. Okay, I don't know why. It's totally random. These weren't like extra scratched or anything. They were all, in fact, these weren't even used at all. I definitely used the Phillips and flatheads over the years, but I have no idea why those created surface rust. But obviously you can swap out whatever bits you want. In fact, after this video, I do have some loose bits here and there, so I'll probably take all 3 of these out because I really don't use them very often and replace them with maybe some Torx bits heads or something. All right, so let's take a look at the actual tool here. All right, so you can see we have main pliers. Okay, so that's the idea here, is it's main plier multi-tool with other separate tools built into the handle. As a plier, I love it. I absolutely love it. All right, you can see it's a little bit wider. It has definitely a unique shape where it flares out like that. All right, as you open this, you can see it is spring action. It has a quite heavy spring, which I really like. Okay, I do prefer spring action pliers. Some of the best pliers that I own are not spring action. Okay, some of the cheapest ones I own are spring loaded, I guess you can call them. All right, and it's really nice because if you go to grab something, you don't get a good hold on it, and you need to open those jaws up again. It's just nice that when you release your grip, it automatically opens. Okay, that is huge. So I mean, you guys can chime in down in the comment section. The people who use multi-tool pliers a lot. I just happen to like that feature. It's always a nice bonus. It's a little bit of a pain. It's not the end of the world, but it's a little pain like you go to grab something and you don't get it how you want it, you don't have a nice bite on it or something, and you have to, you know, just use your fingers, kind of manually open that back up to get another grip on it. So the spring-loaded thing, it's a bonus. This one happens to be a stiffer spring, okay, so it's just really, really nice. I love the grip. They're wide. You can see that there are little jimped spacer pieces in the back here, so like against your hand and your fingertips, when you squeeze, it's not digging into your fingers. Sometimes the edges on multi-tools, especially super cheap ones, are very thin. Okay, so you know, a light little grip, it doesn't matter, but if you're squeezing hard on something, trying to hold it, it becomes uncomfortable. This one is very comfortable. So, and it also has a pretty wide set handles, even on, you know, the fully closed position here. Okay, so I can get a really good grip on it. Some of them close and they end up being really thin. It just makes it a little more difficult. A lot of times when I have multi-tool pliers and stuff, occasionally I'll use something on the inside, but generally speaking, it's for the pliers. You know, if I need a knife, I usually have a dedicated knife. If I need a screwdriver, generally speaking, I can go access a dedicated screwdriver that's going to work better. But there are those times every now and again where you just need your tool, you don't happen to have the better option, and that's why you have a multi-tool, okay? It's a master at none, but it's there for all those other little things you need, right? What I do like about this as well is that all the other tools are accessible from the closed position, okay? So you do not have to open the tool to get to the other stuff. So if you don't want the pliers, you don't have to open the pliers, all right? These tools are a little bit harder to access. They'll have nail nicks. It is a little bit stiff, even years later of use. The file I've never used, so I can't speak to the file, all right? There is a dedicated flathead here. There's actually two of them, a large flathead and a small flathead, which is kind of weird because you have a bit kit. So I don't know why they would do that. I think they really missed the opportunity to put a pair of scissors in here. That would have been way better, but you know, that's one critique on it. This piece here, the smaller flathead, I cannot access at all unless I take out the next tool, which is a plain edge blade, okay? So you can see it kind of rides along with that blade. So we have dedicated large flathead, dedicated small flathead, then we have a large blade, and again, the presumption is this is a 420 HC steel. This one is a usable edge, but it's not like super sharp or anything. On the other side, we have our can opener slash bottle opener, and this thing is, it's grounds on the top here. You can see how that's angled, but it's not sharp at all. All right, the bottle opener is on the bottom, which works totally fine. I actually did have to use that once. The top I've never used for a can opener, but I can't imagine it would be awesome at it. I'm sure it would do the job, but if you were opening multiple cans, you might find that to be difficult because it's not, I mean, it's ground down, but it's not actually sharpened, which is a little strange. Then we have kind of the main tool here, which is your bit holder. Now you can see this is just a square post, okay? You have to obviously use the bit holder that comes with the bit set. All right, so you put this on here on the square ends and it holds your bits. So let's say I want to use the large flathead, okay? There you go. Now I can use this. Now you can also obviously open this tool like this so you have an extended handle if you need to get into a tighter spot or you need more reach or whatever. Now I've used this multiple times, but my biggest pet peeve with this is that there's so much play in here. I don't know why. By the way, it is kind of magnetized on the bottom. Okay, so once you push this on, it doesn't easily fall off. You can shake it off if you really wanted to. But it is magnetized, which is nice. So it's not gonna fall off, but it just doesn't have any stability. There's way too much play in here. And you think like, okay, well maybe it's just not in there properly. If I rotate it, put it in the other way, it doesn't make a difference at all. Okay, just very loose tolerances. This thing is square and the whole square. But like on a lot of these multi-tools, like if you have a Leatherman or something that has this type of bit holder, or even other brands, cheaper brands, they kind of like press fit on and there's a ball bearing that keeps it in place. All right, so it's tight. It's nice it won't fall off, but the tolerances are, like I said, super annoying. So if you go to use this on a screw or something, it's wiggling around, moving around. It'll still get the job done. It's just one of those little things that you notice and becomes quite annoying. But it's functional. Okay, it's totally functional, and that's the most important part, right? So next we have a small awl slash blade, and again, this looks like it would be sharpened, but it is completely dull. So it's ground on both sides, but if I hold it just right, you might be able to see It's a flat edge, okay? So yeah, you can jam this into something, but it's not actually cutting anything. I never went through the process of actually sharpening this because it's just something I don't use. Now the last tool in here is a fully serrated blade, which is actually really sharp. Very sharp, very functional. The one or two times I had to actually use this to cut something, and it was mostly testing. Of course, I always have multiple blades on me, so I don't really, need to use it. I use quotes there, but I get curious every now and again. The plain edge blade, like I said, it's a usable edge, but it's not super sharp. This is actually razor sharp. Full serrations, it works totally well. So in a pinch, you could actually use this to cut multiple things quite easily. It's just I probably would have preferred if I had to choose of which blade was sharper, it would probably be the plain edge. But yeah, so the serrated edge is actually nice and sharp. So I mean, for a $17 to $20 multi-tool, it's pretty good, but unfortunately I'm kind of on the middle of the road here because you have some tools that are unnecessary. All right, again, you have a bit kit, that you could put any bits in there that you want, and it comes with 3 different size flatheads. Why would you have 2 more flatheads that mimic what you already have an option for, right? It just seems like wasted space. They definitely could have integrated scissors. I would have really appreciated scissors in there, and maybe like a wood saw blade or something. So the redundancy of having the extra tools is a little bit annoying. I absolutely love the plier part. Even when you're opening this, you hear it's like click, click, click. It's kind of locking in place. It just feels really good in the hand. Like I said, the wider grip is really nice. So I do very much like using these for the main tool, which is the pliers. But like I said, the tools inside, it's just not awesome at all. The play in the bit holder is really annoying. The unsharpened awl is really annoying. So it comes across as cheap when you're using those types of tools. The only real functional one in there that I actually enjoy, again, is that fully serrated blade, which came razor sharp. So yeah, I just kind of want to talk about this a little bit because, people are into multi-tools. You may not even know that there is a Lansky multi-tool. And if you happen to run across one, you think like, oh, Lansky makes great sharpening kits, how's their multi-tool? Well, that's the point of the video here. I just want to share my opinions. I'm totally like middle of the road with this. Most of my multi-tools are better than this, and if you buy like a $5 or $10 multi-tool, or at least a main plier multi-tool, you're probably going to get about the same you're getting with this. It just happens to have a nice name on it. It's one of those things where the branding will sell you on something. I talk about, this is unrelated to multi-tools, but like someone asked me recently about like Winchester knives at Walmart, and they're like, I know Winchester makes a great gun, I'm sure they make good knives, why are they so cheap? I said, because they don't make those knives. Winchester sells their name to Chinese knife companies that put it on there, and it's really deceiving because when you look at it, you say, oh, that's a great brand, they make quality products. Well, they didn't make that product, so I think that's deceiving. But it sells, and that's why these companies want to use those names. That's why they buy the copyrights to use those names. And unfortunately, that's happened a lot. It's happened a lot over the years. The biggest problem with a lot of the full-size plier multi-tools on the market, the super cheap ones, is that the pliers are fine, but all those tools and the handles are just like a second thought. Half the time they don't even work. Half the time they're not even, like the blades aren't even sharpened. They're not finished. They're just the shape of what it's supposed to be, but it doesn't really work well. This is just kind of hit and miss with those, inside the handle tools. But as a main plier, it's totally fine, works great, very comfortable. And again, with the bit kit, even though it's loose and wobbly, it does function. All right, so, if you ever saw this Lansky multi-tool and you're curious, well, now you know. If you happen to own one of these, I'd love to hear your opinion on it, but that has been my experience over the years. But I still have it. I have it because it's a little bit more unique. Like I said, we see tons of different brands out there all the time. You don't normally come across the Lansky multi-tool, so I always kept it just to have it. So anyway, that's all. Just wanted to share my experiences with that. Let me know down in the comment section if you've had different experiences, and I thank you for watching. Hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you tomorrow with a brand new video. Take care.